Hello and welcome to the Sands of Time review channel. It is your host Sammy Thunder, again with another episode of Watch Express to talk about some of these new releases. The new releases I'll be talking about are the Omega Ultra Deep, which is a brand new release from Omega, and also going through some of Seiko's new releases. So I'll start off with the Omega Ultra Deep, brand new watch from Omega, very reminiscent of the Planet Ocean, except we just don't see the helium escape valve. So a lot of people have been asking to see a Planet Ocean without one. So we kind of get that visual effect of the Planet Ocean without a helium release valve, which is cool to see. And obviously the Ultra Deep comes in a variety of iterations, but honestly I'm just going to talk about this particular model. The Scenic Master Planet Ocean Ultra Deep, and as you can see here, it's rated to 6,000 meters or 20,000 feet of water resistance, and features a Australian represented retail price of 17,675 Australian dollars. What's so special about this? You can obviously Ultra Deep, 6,000 meters of water resistance. This is a big chunky watch. The Planet Ocean was already a little bit of a chunky watch, but now we're going full testosterone with the watch. We are getting a proper saturation diver. I mean, obviously, the Planet Ocean was obviously met those requirements, those ISO standard requirements for saturation diving. But here we have this brand new iteration, and it features Omega Steel, which a lot of brands are. I mean, Rolex has already been doing corrosion resistant steel through 904L, same as Ball Watch Company. But we're starting to see this from brands like Seiko, who also use their Ever Brilliant steel. So I'd like to see a detailed comparison one day between Omega Steel and Ever Brilliant steel that you get, which is proprietary Seiko. Obviously used in marine environments. The watch itself, this watch here is 18 mils thick. I mean, this is pretty freaking thick. Features a 22 mil lug spacing or a lug width. Obviously 45 mils in diameter. So it is wearable on 7-inch plus wrists. But it's just going to look. It's gonna feel. I think even with titanium used on the case back, obviously this thing is still steel. The watch construction is still in steel, so it's gonna be heavy, and you just don't see that crucial measurement here. Another watch that comes into mind, which has a little bit of heft to it, is the Seiko Marine Master 300, based on the 6159 Seiko diver, and that feels a bit top heavy, but this thing here I can imagine is going to be ginormous. It really is going to be crazy. Obviously this features the newer movement, and it features a grade 5 titanium kind of case back with the Seahorse medallion, famous for the Seamaster. And obviously the look is very reminiscent to a Rolex Deep Sea. With the dial, there's definitely going to be a lot of comparison, and I can see a lot of jokes made, based on that. And you can see there are different variations of this in different colors, so it's not like you are restricted. The titanium one is probably something I would consider, but I do know that some of the watches here, they have that unique lug shape, which they call the manta shape, on one of their even more unique versions of their watches. And obviously the new caliber inside, the 8912, features a 60-hour power reserve, self-winding, and a 3.5 hertz beat rate. So slightly compromised beat rate, so slightly lower beat than your typical 28,800 beats per hour. But honestly, it's probably something you won't really notice. And obviously with the newer movement, the MEDAS certification, it's obviously a chronometer. It also features a jumping hour hand, so you can independently adjust the hour hand without having any impact on the minute So this is good for changing time zones. Ceramic bezel, grippy. I think in terms of looks, in terms of design, it looks extremely well, but in terms of the dimensions proposed, such as the thickness, I think it is a compromised design there. So yeah, I wish if they reduce that thickness. Do you really need 6,000 meters of water resistant for the watch? I mean, I think it's a cool watch, you know, and I know there's going to be people there that are going to like it, you know, and that's I completely sympathize with that. You know, this is something, you know, if money weren't an object, I would actually consider it as a nice sports watch, because I do like these divers. So this watch appeals to the diver fanatic more than anything, and also people that just really love the Planet Ocean but never really cared about the helium release valve, because I think these look like fantastic watches. I think they're great and feature a lot. You know, the quality is there. The asking price is very high at $17,675, but you know, gotta see this in the flesh to really see how it is. But yeah, I mean, it's an Omega. Omega watches are creeping up always. Every few months there's a price hike. You know, the watch, yeah, it doesn't feel normal, doesn't really feel right at times. But you know, it is what it is when it comes to Omega. I know Omega has also released a new Seamaster 300 in green. I think it looks pretty good, but at the end of the day, it's nothing. Yeah, it's a cool Seamaster. I'll agree with it. It's a green, so if people wanted a green version of it, you have it here. But it's not doing anything special or new. It's just another color variant. So yeah, and I know there are other solid gold variants of the Speedmaster, but I probably won't go through those now. What I wanted to go through was their brand new, you know, Planet Ocean Ultra Deep. So these are kind of my feelings on the watch. I think, you know, they're priced high for what they are. Could potentially get yourself a 15 to 20% discount, and the lugs I was talking about applicable to this version here. They feature the Manta lugs. Too bad the website itself, they don't even show that. They don't even show that off on the main website. Or hopefully, yes, they do. Sorry, my bad. And that's what you see here. You got the Manta style lugs on this titanium version. This is the version I would actually personally go for. That bezel, yeah, the watch looks really good. And I assume, you know, it would at least be a decent weight. I think it would still be hefty, but it would definitely be a doable weight, definitely in that regard. And I think with this one here, this won't feature. Let's see if this features the Manta. Yep, see, these versions don't feature the Manta lugs, but the titanium version does. So that's definitely something I would look out for, depending on what you want. And the thickness of this watch, they don't state the thickness. Not sure if this is an 18mm thick watch. It could be lower, but from what I've heard, yeah, it is a. I think it would be 18mm, and the other titanium version would have a even larger thickness. I guess one of my questions would be is like, okay, if you're considering a big boy diver from Omega, you know, high water resistance, why aren't we looking at other watches such as the Proplof? I think this is an excellent watch as well, and it's 1,200 meters of water resistance, but obviously it's a wacky design, but it looks pretty cool. It looks really cool for me. Has a wrist presence. It's cheaper. You know, if you're that dive watch fanatic, this is something I would consider. But obviously, you know, expensive. And this would be ideally, it would be much wearable. So I do think the 18mm of thickness, I think it would be masked. It won't be as noticeable. But what I'm worried about is the weight of the watch. So the watch will be extremely top heavy. That's I can, say for sure. It's going to be extremely heavy. It's going to be cumbersome. So it's, it's going to appeal to a very small audience that are looking for these kind of watches. So that's kind of with my thoughts on this new Planet Ocean Ultra Deep. And now with the Seiko releases, we have the new Seiko Save the Oceans. So you've got them in the Captain Willard 62 MAS and the Marine Master 200 case. I mean, just not so long ago, I just made a video about a limited edition series, the Blacked Out series, which pretty much did the same thing. And now we have again, within a month or quicker, we have these brand new releases, Save the Ocean. But these aren't limited. These will probably just be, standard production models. They're special edition, so it'll run exclusively for an X period of time, probably a year or two, and then once they're out of production, it will not be made. So I mean, these just look really good, and I just want to see them in person. These are obviously all about the dial, and what we're getting here is a dial very reminiscent of the Grand Seiko White Birch. It's very close to it. It's probably not as the grooves aren't as done to perfection as in what you see with the White Birch. So it's there's a lot of depth to the White Birch. I know the spring drive version of the White Birch it's probably similar to this dial here. So I mean, if you want that kind of dial for a fraction of the price, I mean you're getting multiple colors as well. I guess these definitely do look great. I mean, when you look at the 62 MAS, I mean, you're getting a standard stainless steel bezel, but yeah, you're getting a nice blue dial, and it does remind you of a bit of the ice, It makes sense as a release. Stainless steel, markers. I used to own the SLA 043, and it just had this weird light blue seconds hand, which made no sense. I mean, if it was just stainless steel, I think it would be a great release, but yeah, they just made it a light blue, and they said, oh, it's about Naomi Umera. They wanted to commemorate that. So that design really didn't make sense, and I actually think, I actually sold my SLA 043 because I thought these new 62 masses in the 6R35 movement, there were many variations, and I thought it just did a better job. I mean, it was thinner, it's a bit more modern, so you have a bit of that beveling edges there. It actually came with a bracelet strap monster at 20mm lug width, and I don't really care about the movement because the SLA does have the 8L, but it does they don't really regulate it. So I mean usually they are accurate, but I'm pretty sure you'll get some in most cases with the 6R, you should be able to land an accurate, a good accuracy, but sometimes it's just not possible. I'm a personal example of that. I have gotten watches that are out of the specification, which is sad. But movement away, I mean, this watch, they look great. I mean, if you look at this one here, ice blue. This is personally one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite. I wanted a Marine Master 200, and I think the dial here is gorgeous. You're getting that white birchy kind of dial in light blue, stainless steel hands. You get that light pop of blue on that what do you got? Traffic light seconds hand, and you do get that. I think this is probably just a lacquered bezel, or DLC coated lacquered bezel, probably not ceramic. And then again we have the Captain Willard, price slightly higher than the above two, 62 MAS and Marine Master 200, and you do get this bezel which has some weird granny pattern, has some like guilloche kind of pattern to it, but yeah, it's, at the end of the day it's stainless steel, but you do get a white dial. I mean, I can't, from these stock images, I can't tell the difference between this dial and the Grand Seiko white birch spring drive dial. I personally can't tell the difference, just from the stock images itself. So yeah, that's definitely one thing. So and respective Seiko taxonomy here, so all part of the SPB line, and some of the dimensions. Obviously, there's no point even mentioning them because these should be fairly obvious releases. Iterations of the same watch. So 1950 Aussie dollars for the Marine Master 200 and the 62 MAS, and for the Captain Willard it's 2100 Australian. So these shouldn't be limited edition. They are special edition watches. So all about saving the ocean. A bit of that money goes into saving the ocean. So you do have, obviously, with these watches, you have the super hard coating, and you do have anti-reflective sapphire crystal, which is good to see. And obviously you get LumiBright state-of-the-art lume that's present, so you're getting the best and the best in luminescence when you buy one of these watches. Honestly, the only compromise which I always mention is movement accuracy. If that's something that bothers you, you probably want to just go in and probably just just make sure you get the right watch in terms of bezel alignment, etc. But in terms of movement accuracy, honestly, I think with buying a Seiko, it's probably just very safe for you to just get a time grapher, put in that $200 investment, buy a time grapher. When you get the watch, don't take out the stickers, put on the time grapher, see if you get the right accuracy. If not, you can just return the watch, and that's something I personally would consider. I am very tempted to get the Marine Master 200, so the SPB299. I think this is probably the best iteration of the Marine Master 200 to date. I think this is gorgeous. I think this is great. So these are kind of my thoughts on the new Seiko releases and the Omega Ultra Deep. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat below, and obviously like, dislike, and thank you for watching. It is the Sands of Time exiting. Peace.